Chapter 50. Another video from Darius? We all gathered around Jimmy's computer. Darius read another prepared statement off a piece of paper. He looked older, more tired. His beard was long now. I almost didn't recognize him. There was almost nothing of the old Darius I knew and loved there on the screen. Is this how Haidar Ansari's wife and children felt as they watched him transform into a terrorist? Watched him become someone they didn't know anymore? I tried to focus on what Darius was saying. It was the usual death to America stuff. And then Darius dropped 2 Rostam clues. The first was Rostam versus Godzilla, a story we'd made up after watching a bunch of Japanese monster movies on cable one afternoon. The other was a bit about the Joker's goons again. I sat back on the rock-hard bed, deflated. "What?" Jimmy asked. "What is it?" "It's the same code he used before," I said. "The one about football." "But the other clue is new, isn't it?" Aaliyah said. "About Godzilla?" "Yeah. Rostam and Siavash have to fight Godzilla. We couldn't beat him, so we lured him into a rocket ship full of hot dogs and blasted him into space." Jimmy snickered. "We were little kids," I argued for what felt like the millionth time. "What I want to know is why Darius is still talking about the Women's World Cup." "To make sure you got it," Dane said. "But we took care of it already," I said. "The CIA, the Army, whoever, they stopped it." "Maybe they haven't heard," Jimmy said. "Maybe they've got their heads buried too far in the sand." "No," Aaliyah said. "I refuse to believe Ansari doesn't know. Even if their contacts didn't tell him, it was all over the news, in every newspaper in the world. It was even on ESPN. Haidar Ansari knows his World Cup bomb plot was foiled. But I think he wanted it to be." "Plans within plans?" Dane asked. "Precisely," Aaliyah said. "Give the CIA a bomb plot in Canada to throw us off the scent of what he's really up to here in America. Something he's kept so secret, not even Darius knows about it. Unless there's a clue to it in your Godzilla story." "Ansari's going to fire a rocket full of hot dogs at us," Jimmy joked. "Yes, it doesn't sound very helpful," Aaliyah said. "But why give the Joker's goons clue again?" I asked. Aaliyah shrugged. "I suspect your brother's access to information from the outside world is more limited, and he doesn't know that the Women's World Cup plot was foiled. As Jimmy says, he's just making sure we get the message. And as long as Darius doesn't know anything, we don't know anything." She bit her lip. "We really needed a new clue right about now, but this video is worthless." "No," I said. "No, it has to mean something. The Godzilla clue is new." I had Jimmy play the video again for me. I stared at Darius as he read. "What are you trying to tell me, Darius? What are you trying to say? I know you're trying to tell me something." He came to the part again about the Joker's goons, and I remembered playing football with him that day in the backyard. And then suddenly, I had it. What Darius meant the first time, and what he meant now. What Haidar Ansari was doing in America. What he was going to attack. "Oh my God," I said. I hopped up and started pacing the room. "Oh my God! We were so stupid!" "What?" Aaliyah asked. "What is it?" Okay, I said, still pacing. Thoughts were coming at me like a quarterback blitz. I couldn't find the words. Where to begin? "Okay, yes, sorry. So, what if Darius does know there's another plot? What if the thing about the Joker's goons did mean the Women's World Cup the first time, but means something different this time?" "Something different?" Aaliyah said. "But it's the same story, the same reference." "The clue was all about a bomb and a football," I said. "Mickey thought that meant football like soccer." "It was," Dane said. "They found the cell with stadium plans and everything." "But you said Ansari was all about misdirection, tricks. He's clever and he likes to show it. So what if this attack's the same but different?" Everybody was frowning at me. I wasn't explaining it right. Look, okay, we know Ansari's in America, right? We think so, or we wouldn't be here right now, Aaliyah said. So he's here in America, in Arizona, and he wants a big target, you said. Something with an audience, I said. I waited for them to get it, but they just stared at me. In frustration, I grabbed the remote control and turned the TV on. Instead of one of the news channels, I clicked over to ESPN. And welcome back to SportsCenter, an announcer said. With Super Bowl 49 just a week away, all eyes are on host city Phoenix, Arizona, where the teams met the media today. For more on the press conference, we go to Emily Reed live at the University of Phoenix Stadium. Emily? Oh, frack, Jimmy said. Emily Reed, microphone in hand, started talking about the upcoming Super Bowl. I turned to face the others in the room. You want a big audience? I said. You want to scare the most people you possibly can? What about setting off a bomb in front of 100 million viewers on TV? Aaliyah got up and started pacing. Dane stared at the floor. No, Jimmy said. No way. The security on that building the day of the game will be like the Pentagon. And trust me, I know what that's like. We're talking barricades, metal detectors, dogs, a 30-mile no-fly zone patrolled by F-16s. That place is a fortress. Nobody's crazy enough to hit the Super Bowl. It makes sense, though, doesn't it? I asked. Why bring Darius to America if the target is in some other country? Because it's not. It's right here, and it's always been about football. Mickey thought that meant soccer. Darius, too, at first. That's the distraction, the misdirection. But it's always been about American football. Darius must have figured it out. A plan within a plan, Aaliyah said. You can't possibly be serious, Jimmy said. I'm telling you, it's impossible. Impossible or not, we need to get DHS on this, Dane said. FBI, CIA, tell Mickey. Jimmy tossed his laptop on the bed. I need another Red Bull. As he dipped his plastic cup into the ice bucket, Dane grabbed his wrist. Who got ice? Dane said. His voice was low and scared, like having ice in the room was the worst thing that had ever happened in the history of the world. Me, I said, confused. Dane's dark eyes turned on Jimmy like he just betrayed us all. You let him out of your sight? Jimmy yanked his wrist free and rubbed it. I had to go to the can. Dane turned on me, his eyes still smoldering, and I shrank back. Did anybody see you? I don't know. Maybe, I said. There was this guy going into a room, but Dane hurried to the front window and peeked out behind the curtain. Red lights glinted on the glass. Everybody down, Dane cried, and a tear gas cartridge trailing white smoke came crashing through the window.